J. Malcolm's cutlass in here. We're about to put some coilovers on the front of it. Replace those stock shocks and springs. Get it ready to fit these big rims on here. Have a cardboard assisted design here.
For clearance?
Nah, take the card. This is a little trick I learned at a body shop. You take a piece of cardboard and hold it up to what you're gonna have to make a plate to fit. If you got a good straight line. It'll kind of trace it out for you. So you can cut it out and transfer it to metal and it'll fit a little bit cleaner than just trying to guess it.
Gotcha.
I did told you the same.
Getting her stuck in there. Great. Now we can test it at the wheel. Ridge the weld over it like that, it'll start cracking. And once you put any kind of pressure on it, it'll pop that face out. So you just kind of, you can run one bead up top, but you kind of have to walk that one so it don't try to come apart on you like it's trying to do right there. So I'll grind that down a little more and then run a weld across both pieces of it. If you don't, she'll come apart. It'll be close on that exhaust. Yeah. If you let that front down, let them front wheels hit, it'll help you with that. I didn't want it to, because once it starts picking this side up, it wants to lean it. You're just gonna have to let the front down and get some weight on it so it'll pick it up again. At least to where the front are touching. Gets a little bit tricky trying to weld some of that old metal sometimes, but you get it clean enough, it'll finally lay on there. But you see what I was talking about, having to like
Oh yeah.
bridge the welds over it.
Yep, keep it from separating, right?
Yeah. Some of it got a little ugly where it gets some of the rust pulled to it, but pretty clean.
I do it again.
Oh yeah. So what you got going on, CJ?
Trying to get the wheel to get off of this wheel tub, which I think we're clear now. The actual tub, not the frame or anything.
Right.
Yeah, it's off of it now. I can get my fingers between it. So that's good. It's off of it back here except for that exhaust.
No, I'm done.
Alright, so what we do is we cut this outer plate out first, and then you see this top lip up to about right there. We'll cut it all the way back, skin it all the way down this rail, all the way down to here. It usually winds up being about 1 inch deep right here in this front corner, in this front pocket right under here. We'll cut it out, cut this bottom out to this bottom edge right here. And in the back, we'll do the same thing, kind of cut it in. You can cut them a little thinner than that, but just depending on how crazy you want to get as far as how thin you need it to be, as far as you can do like a max notch, or we generally try to take about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch out of them is what we usually wind up getting out of them. And you got the plate. This is basically what the plate will look like once you cut it all. We'll grind the edges, reuse it. They sell kits you can reuse, you can buy, or you can reuse the original, but they do sell kits if it gets damaged or anything's been messed up on it before. But this is basically what the plate will look like while it's cut out. And then it actually curls up back toward the end. You can't see it in the picture, but we just trying to flatten that area back in, and you'll have to build the back corner back into it. I'll show you on this other side. All right, and this is one that's basically, he's already got this side pretty much welded all the way in. You can do it different ways. You can TIG weld all this. You can MIG weld it. This is just a MIG weld. It's just mild steel. I like the MIG weld a little bit better, strong. But in the back, you can see we added this plate here, and then we added this plate here, because when you cut, if you use a factory rail kit or use a factory frame rail, when you cut it off, it actually leaves this side a little bit short, because then this originally has like a curve right in here. So you add this plate here, and then you just add this plate to the corner, and then in the very front up here, you're going to add usually about a 1 inch piece here, just depending on, like I said, how deep you go with it. That pretty much gets the rail out of the way. Now we got to come back in the side. I don't know if you can see. We're either going to roll this lip, or we're going to try to cut it, depending on, if the car wasn't painted nice, we would just go ahead and roll it. Gives you a nice, it actually flares this whole area out. So depending on how it starts to go rolling wise, we may wind up having to stop and cut it. We don't want to bust any of the paint off in this area. So we're going to see how that goes here in just a few minutes.
All right, what we got going on, Jesse?
We are cutting this inner fender piece out right here. We're about to have to cut this corner out, basically, to clear this inner panel, to make it have a little bit of radius when you can turn. That way this edge right here is a little bit too long, so we're going to have to clearance it a little bit so tire will fit under here. Got pretty, don't make it look good.
Can I borrow that cut off here for a second?
Oh, yeah. Gotta get some shape to it. Once I get the wheel on it, I'll trace it to the wheel and make it match. I cut that side a little bit more. Ain't that's gonna paint up yet. Not yet. That ought to do her. Should be enough anyway. Mike, turn the other way. Slow down. All right, hold on. Go back. All right, we have to turn it back to you. All right, turn it back to the right. All right, go back. It's close there too. So we're gonna take probably another 1/2 inch out of it. All right. Something about like that right in there. And come down through here with it like that. Oh yeah, and then we'll just trim this little edge back. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll get it right there. This one needs to go a little higher anyway. Yeah, see, that'll kind of radius it a little bit. Give it a little better look anyway. That battery. Bad there. Look pretty good. pretty close. Ain't got one good enough. Now we just got Oh yeah, I think that's gonna be us. Got plenty right there. All right, so we got the coilovers on. See if you can see up in there. Pretty much all you got to do on the front, pop this lower ball joint loose, drop the lower control arm. You got the 2 bolts under the bottom right there, and then you got the 1 stud up on the top side. If I can see it. You got the 1 stud right there. Just take them loose, lower the control arm, pop the old spring out, and just install the new stuff and kind of reverse the procedure. It wasn't really that. Sweet. Should make it a little better. Might rub the cable, but it ain't gonna do nothing. Alright, there y'all go. That's it. It took all day. Jay's been with us all day. We started C-notching it first thing this morning, so that just kind of goes to show you some of these jobs, you know, you get a quote on something, it's not always a high quote. It just takes a little bit to do these things. I mean, we had to set it down and dry it a few times, make sure we didn't have anything scrubbing, but that's the finished product right there. Everything clears. It's got good clearance everywhere. Turning radius is fine, so there she is. Alright, so today we got this little Gbody El Camino. Well, it's actually a GMC Caballero, but this is my next little project. We're going to be installing a Willwood disc brake kit on the front and some upper and lower control arms on the back. Super clean car. It's kind of a street car. It's not race car or anything like that. It's actually got rims and everything on it. We're going to, I'll show you the rims later. We haven't fit everything on that part of it yet, but today we're going to work on getting the control arms and everything put on the car, getting the brakes fit on the car. So we'll kind of go into details on what you got to do, getting everything to fit, and kind of getting all the arms and everything put on and adjusted. But stay tuned for the video. Gbody going to kind of show you how to do that. Just the urethane bushing on one end, got the heim joint on the other, aluminum center. Still got the provisions for the sway bar, so if you do want to run the rear sway bar, you can. We wouldn't normally run these like in a race application. We would run double heim joint on both ends, rod end, something chromoly, double adjustable, that way. Alright, so CJ's taking the upper control arm out. He can kind of tell you what he's doing.
Trying to get some rusty bolts out right now.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you take this bolt out and that bolt out, and you just want to make sure you have something holding the rear end up so it don't try to fall on you. So you just take those out and it pops off and bolt the new one on there.
All right, just give you a little pointer here on the initial setup on these, since they are adjustable. Measure, take your original control on before you, after you get it off, and then before you install this one, just to kind of, since it's not double adjustable, you have to actually drop the bolt out of one side and drop it down to adjust it. Take your tape measure and just kind of measure your original control arms center to center on these two holes, and that'll kind of get you in the neighborhood of where it was originally. And then you can still go back and play with it and adjust it if you need to, but like I said, you just got to drop that lower bolt out so you can drop it down to get it the heim adjusted. Alright, so here's the car working on. GMC Caballero. Super clean car. Got rims and everything on it. We hadn't fit them exactly, so I don't want to show y'all that yet. That's going to be another video. But basically what we're doing, we're getting rid of these old brakes. Putting a little bit bigger style brake on it, just upgrading it. Putting a wheelwood kit on it. And then what we're going to do, get over here, show you all the rear what we got going. Basically, we already started the rear install. Gonna put upper and lower control arms on it. Kind of give you all an idea how to do that. It's not too hard of a job. It's fairly simple. Already got a set of QA1 coilovers on the rear. Like I said, we still got to do some notching and fitting to get the wheels to fit, but stay tuned for the video. Alright, so this is the spindle. We got factory Gbodys spindle. Just kind of show you what you got to do on these for these brake kits. This is the new wheelwood bracket. So basically what you have to do, you see it lines up with that hole there, and it lines up with the hole on the bottom. So basically the factory ear then is not necessary. You have to actually cut the ear off there, and then cut the ear off there. Usually what we do is just try to scribe a line as close to the back of the bracket as possible, because you need to give yourself enough room in here actually to get the bolt on the back of the caliper. So just take your cut off wheel, or pretty much whatever you got that you can cut it with, cut you off that ear down through there, and you're gonna have to cut this ear off through here. And then once you get that on there, usually it comes with different thread pitch bolts, so you have to drill out these factory holes here and here and retap them to the size that they usually send with the kit.
take and round that corner off, make it look a little better.
Alright, so basically what he did, he's got both ears cut here and here like I was talking about before. So now he's just gonna come in here and take the grinder, clean this off, round these edges off. You just gotta make, like I said, make sure you leave yourself enough room once you bolt this caliper on to go to get to the bolt on the back side of it. But we'll get it all cleaned up and get it prepped, and we'll go ahead and drill it and tap it and get it ready for the bracket to go on.
Ooh.
What you doing right now?
Trying to get this caliper spacing right so I'm not just riding on that rotor the whole time it's spinning. There we go. See how that looks. Can't really tell till it's tightened down. So you kind of have to get it all put together with whatever spacing you want to use, and then if it's wrong, take it all apart.
Yeah, build it twice.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find Yeah, I think that's gonna be a little too tight actually. Need to add another one.
I mean, it's just a couple shims on the back.
Yeah, I had 2 of them. I mean, it's not touching, it's just
You ain't sitting in the hook rotor yet.
not quite. So I think I'm gonna add another one.
Yeah, try to get it dead middle.
Yeah. Don't want to wear out one pad before the other one, especially on expensive pads, you know?
That's right.
Brake fluid is not good anyways.
Yeah, all over the nice paint. Yeah, so basically what we're doing, we're just sucking all the old fluid out of the master cylinder. So when we take it off, we don't make a huge ass mess all over this nice paint this man has on this car.
Don't quite have enough in my fingers.
So here's the old master cylinder right here. This is the new one we're put in. Smaller diameter piston, so it'll have a little bit more pressure. Something you need to keep in mind on these things is if you look right here at the back of these 2 distances right here. Some of these master cylinders don't come with an adapter in here. So when you check your brake rod length, you need to make sure that that's the same, because otherwise you'll hop in the car thinking you got everything good to go, trying to bleed the brakes, and you won't have no pedal because the end of this master cylinder will be a little bit different. So that's something to keep in mind when you're putting these new master cylinders on there. Alright, so here's an important step everybody skips. So most of these kits come with the hoses, so you can, it's called bench bleed the master cylinder. Gets all the air out of the master cylinder before you actually hook your lines up. So it takes a little bit longer, kind of makes a mess a little bit, but it's a good step to do if you want to have a little bit easier go of getting all the air out of the brakes when you do start bleeding the system out. It just makes it a little bit faster, a little bit easier. You can kind of see all the air coming out of it now. You just don't want to pump too fast, just pump kind of slow and it'll slowly work all the bubbles out of it. And then just keep a check on the fluid, make sure you don't run it dry. Okay, so we got the rear all wrapped up. Kind of did a little walkthrough, go over what we did again. Pretty much just change the uppers and lowers. Like I said, the upper control arms, they're nice, double adjustable. It's got a single adjustable lower. We are going to come back in here and change the upper housing bushings and also upgrade the hardware for the control arms just to get a little bit better bolt in it. You know, if he does wind up putting more power in the car later on, it won't break them. But something I want to go over too to show y'all is we get a lot of grief about exhaust and how much we charge to do exhaust, and I'm going to show y'all why we charge what we charge. So this is kind of a typical exhaust shop pipe bender that they use, and you can see right there where it just kinks the pipe up really bad. Even here on this particular bend, it kind of shrinks the bend. So it's just a small exhaust anyway, but we use mandrel bent stuff on all of our exhaust. It takes a little more time, it costs a little bit more money, but that is the reason why we do that. And like I said, you're just robbing power, basically choking the exhaust down like that. But that's just something to keep in mind when you do go to these exhaust shops, is, you know, what type benders they use. And yeah, the price may reflect, but in the long run you're going to get a better job if you use someone who does mandrel bent pipe. So that pretty much takes care of the rear. I'm gonna walk around and show y'all the front, kind of wrap that side up. All right, so pretty much same thing on the front. Got the Willwood brakes installed. Got everything shimmed out, bled out already. It's got the stainless line, basically got the flex hoses on it. Makes it a little bit easier to hook the calipers up. So pretty much straightforward on the front. I'll let the car down and show y'all the master cylinder, and that'll pretty much wrap everything up. All right, so there she is. We're actually gonna keep working on this in a little bit. We still have to do the rims, get them fitting correct. They got them put on. It's drivable the way it is, but to get the car to sit like the customer wants it to sit, we're gonna wind up doing a little bit more in the rear. All the brakes turned out nice. Stops good. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get in this back area. We're gonna probably wind up lowering the back another probably 1 or 2 inches. Something I will point out that they already did before the car was painted, but so when you roll these quarters, a lot of times what we do is we'll actually just, you know, roll them either with a tool or actually roll them, you know, hammer roll them basically. And I don't cut them. Like I don't really like to cut them, because when you go in here in the back of this quarter and you cut little slices all up through here, well, what happens is when you go to roll it, yeah, it folds up nice, it lays over flat, but you wind up getting little kink spots all right in the corners, right where you cut it. Well, also, if you don't cut it, when you actually hammer on it, this whole area will actually swell out just a little bit. So it just makes it easier to fit the wheels. So that's something to keep in mind. If a lot of guys will go in there and that's the first thing they do is get a blade out and start cutting on it, but you don't have to do that. There's ways around it. So just keep that in mind before you go cutting on the back of the car. Like I said, there's different ways. We're going to wind up narrowing the rear end a little bit, getting the wheel to sit up under it, and doing a little notching on the frame just to get it to clear. But we'll show that in the next episode. Like I said, we're going to get the rims fitting the way you want some and get the car dropped down. But stay tuned for that one. All right, so that's pretty much going to be it for this one for today. Just stay tuned. Like I said, we're going to be fitting the rims on and getting the car sitting right. And then, like I said, if you got any questions or anything y'all like to see in particular, just leave us a comment I'll try to read everything, and we'll try to, in the videos, address it and try to show different things. I said we work on all types of cars, so I can't show all the grudge stuff we do. So pretty much just have to show the daily drivers, and we can show some of the hot rods. And some of the grudge cars, I don't care. Some of the cage work. But if there's anything in particular y'all like to see, just let us know, and we'll try our best to address it and give y'all a little bit more to watch. Thank you. About to show y'all what we did. This little two-door 86 Caprice. Give y'all a little walk around and show y'all what we did to it. All right, so here's the two-door box Chevy. I'm gonna go into detail in the video a little bit more about what we actually did, but just kind of get a lot of questions about where the stuff comes from. So the rear end in this car is just a Moser rear end. It's a custom housing. So just something to remember when you order stuff like that, or order your rear end, is offset on your wheels. You know, these wheels here are 3.5-inch backspace. They're concave wheels, so you just kind of keep that in mind and get your measurements right when you order that. And you can pretty much get any brake kit for a 9-inch. They sell just about anything you can imagine. And then on the front, it's got just a Willwood brake kit. The arms, all that stuff's basically like for a 96 style Impala or B-body. Pretty much, they don't sell a lot of stuff for Caprices. If you try to look it up for a box Chevy, you're not going to hardly find anything, but that's actually what the arms come off of, as an Impala. Brake kit, same thing, fits an Impala. It still uses the stock spindles for the Caprice, but the actual arms and stuff are for an Impala. And then we got the old rear end right here that come out of it. It's just a 7.5. Just replaced it with the 9-inch with the disc brakes. These are the factory. So that's something too to take in mind when you order your control arms. They make a set. You can buy the uppers and lowers, but I always try to get on the uppers double adjustable, just because if you do need to move the rear end side to side, it gives you a little bit of adjustability there. And then sometimes you got to get a different length if it's a custom application. If you're trying to move the wheel further back, sometimes you got to get a custom arm. So a lot of companies make the arms for them, but that's just the rear end that come out of it. Like I said, we replace it with a 9-inch. Got the Moser rear end going back in. Just got to finish narrowing up and get the brackets welded in place, get everything where we need it to be. Everything we order it apart, that way we can weld it all up and put it back together.
have gone all day without that information. The grinder extender.
Ain't that how much the wheels last on?
Alright, man. What the fuck I'm gonna do here? There's yours. The one I thought I had.
All right, so we got the little box Chevy in here. Got the Moser 9-inch installed. What we did was remounted the coilovers. Kind of run us a bar side to side on the frame and use the same bar to tie in the anti-roll bar and the coilovers, so they're kind of in the factory location. And then what we did is use the factory style lower control arm bracket to mount the lowers. Got the upper and lower control arms installed. It's got a set of Metco lowers. It's got a set of trick chassis uppers. But that pretty much does everything for the rear end. Ran all new brake lines. Got the little flex hoses to the calipers. Alright, so we got the front wrapped up. This is probably one of the biggest front brake kits we've ever installed. It's a Willwood kit. Not too bad of an install. What you got to do is on the factory spindle, just cut this. You got to cut the factory ears off where the original caliper used to bolt on the bottom side and the top side. And then you just gotta drill it, tap it to the bolts that they send in the kit. Then we got the upper and lower control arms installed. It's a QA1 kit on the upper and lowers. They went on pretty much, you know, standard. And then it's got a set of Viking coilovers on the front. And then what we did, the only other thing we really had to do, he didn't want to cut on the front. This is a low mile car, it's a really nice car. So what we did on the front to keep the fenders, when you turn the wheel, from hitting without having to cut anything, we just added an extension to the original fender bracket, lengthened it a little bit, and that kind of made it to where it won't hit when you turn. Give us a little bit of clearance that we needed. That pretty much wraps the front up on everything. Alright, so there it is, finished up. Got 26s all the way around. Got the big brake kit on the front. Got all the new suspension on all the way around. Coilovers, pretty much fully adjustable everywhere. Big brake kit on the back. That's what it looks like done. Alright, y'all stay tuned for the next one. That's the harness we're changing right there. All right, we got the replacement calipers on the front. Like I said, he just was changing them to switch colors around. I think I had gray ones on it before. Let me show you on this side, walk around it real quick. Got the rear ones on too. It's a new setup on the back. Like I said, we got the 9-inch all in there. We're changing the lower control arm bolts right now. When we get them switched out, we got to get the pan transmission all tightened back up and we'll be good to go. Gonna wrap us up on that. Like I said, that's what she finally looks like sitting on the ground. Got the front brakes on, got the rear brakes on. Give you a quick little walk around, a little dirty. We'll try to rinse it off a little. Got a new 9-inch installed. Got the updated wiring harness in it. Like I said, it was pouring through the actual wiring harness on that transmission, so we got all that taken care of also, but that's her sitting on the ground ready. Alright, so we got the GMC back in here. I think the last time we worked on it, we were putting the front brakes on and mass cylinder. We got all that stuff done already, but we were waiting on some stuff to come in for the rear. We have to do the rear axles and the rear brake kit. Like I said, we got the already had all the front done. We got to fit the wheels too. He wants to tuck the wheels a little bit more in the back, so we're going to drop the back down. But like I said, just kind of show y'all what we're doing on it. And like I said, the rear end is going to be a little bit tricky because it's got a 7.5 in it. It's kind of like a metric style is what they call it. They don't really make a lot of brake kits for these things, so we're gonna make a kit work and see if we can get it to do what we wanted to do. Hopefully it turns out good. Just stay tuned. All right, this is what we got going on. We got the GMC in here. we're gonna narrow this rear end up. So basically, this is what they call like a metric style rear end. It's got the big flange. So we're gonna see what we can come up with to be able to put a disc brake kit on it. So we'll wind up cutting it, probably cutting it right in there, re-drilling it, kind of making us a bracket that'll fit it. So I'll show y'all how it goes anyway. All right, so we got the metric, what they actually, like the old drum brake bracket cut off of there. We're kind of mocking up our new, this is the e-brake system, so we're trying to mock it up. Basically what we're trying to do is, the two lower holes, they'll actually line up. So we drill them for the bigger 3/8, and then we'll actually line everything up and get the top cut and get everything fitted and drill some top holes and get all that stuff set in there also. All right, so he's got the frame pretty much ready. Kind of show you what we did right here. Basically, instead of doing like a kind of traditional C-notch, we split it and then just kind of hammer this area back. That way, it still wound up taking about a 1/2 inch or so out of the back side of it. But this way here, when we hammer it back, it don't look like it's really been messed with. When we weld it and grind it down, you won't really be able to tell it's been done. In the back, we had to take a little bit more, kind of do like more of a traditional. So we cut this section out right here and then kind of did our normal box over to the edge because these corners roll in. But once we get it plated back, I'll show y'all how that looks. And like I said, when we get done, you won't really be able to tell. But this is just, anybody who knows these e-bikes, they're real tight in this corner right here. They always hit the back tire back here. So we'll show y'all how that looks once we get it all tacked in place. All right, so just gonna show you we got everything tacked in place. Like I said, we didn't reuse the rear part of the frame we cut out. We just made a new piece. Just fits better that way to fit inside there. Kind of gives us a little bit more room. We just got everything tacked in place, and like I said up front, it's kind of gonna go back in here. We knocked this piece in. Can't really see it, but right here it kind of tapers back probably about a 1/2 inch and then tapers out. Tack them all in place, get them welded, and set it back on the ground. Get it cut out of there. Alright, I want to show you what we had to do too. On El Camino, there's actually a panel that kind of sits right in this area. So to get these wheels to fit, like I said, to get everything to go in here and clear, we had a little issue when we were driving it the first time. It was actually rubbing this back corner just a little bit because it's like kind of like a mud flap almost. It was where they continue down the wheel tub. So we had to go in there and cut that out of the way. And like I said, just give us a little bit more clearance. But the rest of it worked out pretty good. We're not hitting anywhere else or anything. So got the brakes installed. Like I said, we got our ride height set. Everything's good to go on that part of it. So we're gonna set it back down. All right, that's gonna wrap us up with this one. Like I said, we got it sitting how he wants. Got the wheels tucked in there pretty good in the back. Looks good. Got the brakes working right now finally. Like I said, we had to do a little bit of adjustment on the proportion valve and kind of play with it a little bit, but she looks pretty good. Alright, so this is what we got going on the Camaro. What it is, it's got a, let me find the wheel. Let me show you the wheel we got. So this is the wheel he's got going on. It's a pretty big wheel. I think it's like a 20 by 12 or something like that. But what the issue is basically the plate when they did the 4-link kit on it. This bracket right here kind of stuck out past the frame. So it actually was hitting the caliper. So we're gonna go in here and plate. We already cut it back. Went in and cut this outer plate off. And we're gonna go in here and replate it and put the new pieces inside it, weld it back up so it'll actually clear the wheel. And you can see it, get it to where it's, you know, not rubbing his inner fenders and stuff like that. That way we can lower the car because he wants to lower the back of the car a little bit more. So that'll give us a little bit of clearance so we can do that. Alright, as y'all can see, we got it all put back together. Got our new bracket in there. Got plenty of clearance now. Let's see if I can get to the inside and show y'all. You can see now we got probably about 1/2 inch to 3/4, somewhere in that range now. So we got plenty there. I'm not gonna hit the caliper when it comes down. But I'll get it sitting on the ground and kind of give y'all a walk around and let y'all check it out. All right, that's gonna wrap us up on her. As y'all see, we got it sitting on the ground. We got the stance sitting pretty good. It's got a little bit of tweaking we're gonna do on it. Like I said, we got the rear wheels clearing now, no issues, they fit good. So just figure I'd give y'all a quick little walk around. Like I said, he's gotta take it and get some odds and ends finished on it, but it's really close. Like I said, it's a super nice car. I'm gonna pop the hood and show y'all under the hood in just a second, but give y'all a quick walk around video. Beautiful car. Gotta put the grill still in the front of it. You don't have the grill in it yet, but I think that's where it's headed next, actually. Get that finished up. Alright, so we got a little Monte Carlo. I'm going to show you. This is basically, we're going to take these factory tubs. And you see right here, we got our line drawn. We're going to split the tub right on the edge of the seam of the body. And then we're going to cut it and then slide it over 2.5 inches. That way it still retains the factory tub. We still get the back seat back in it. We're just going to widen it. Instead of having to build a whole new custom set. It's a little cleaner. But that'll kind of show you what we're doing on it. Alright, so as you see, we got one tub cut out. You can kind of see where we got our lines cut on that one. So basically now what we're going to do is go cut our piece back. We're going to go ahead and widen it. We'll add our strip to it. And then we'll finish it all off and get them put back in. This is the tub we cut out of it. Like I said, always leave a lip. That way we can put it back over. Seam it, you'll never know it's been done. Like I said, we cut it flush on this one edge, and we'll just add us our 2.5 inches right here, so we'll be able to fit a 12-inch wheel under here without any problems. Kind of makes it turn out a little nicer. Alright guys, so we're back in here. A little rainy today. This is a little Monte Carlo we've been working on. I'm to kind of show you what we did to it. We got it finished up now. We got a couple of odds and ends to do. It needs to, still got to lower it a little more in the rear. He's gonna have to probably get a little lighter spring, but kind of give y'all a little walk around. I'll show y'all some of the work we did on it. But as you can see, we got the wheelwood disc brakes on the front. Drop spindles. Put a rack and pinion and everything on it. Kind of same thing on the rear. Got the wheelwood on the rear. It's got a 9-inch in it. It's been narrowed up. So what we did on it, we mini tubbed it. I'm gonna kind of show y'all because a lot of people ask us. But you know, you can mini tub these cars, still keep back seats. You can mini tub them and still drive them around every day, like for street application. You don't have to necessarily. And everybody thinks when you say tub a car, it turns it into a race car, but you can do it and keep it to where it's a street car. You don't necessarily have to put these big gaudy tubs in it. So we'll get in here and show y'all what we did on that. And you'll see in the video too where we actually did the tubs. So basically what we got in here is, move some of the stuff out of the way. All right, so what we got in here, you can see, I'll show y'all a couple things. All right, so that basically just looks like a factory tub. You know, what we did is split the tub, widened it roughly 2 inches, you know, made our strip, and then widened the actual tub about 2 inches, stretched it over. Kind of the same thing on this side, and we just seam sealed everything back, welded it, slid them back together, and then basically it gives you that extra clearance that you're going to want for the tires. And then you can see also, and I'll show you on the bottom once we get the car raised up, but you can see that little plate there that goes into the back seat. What that does is, you know, when you tie these cars in on the bottom, the way we do it, you can do it a couple different ways. You can flip that bar down. There's a crossbar, it's 1 5/8. I know a lot of y'all know about tying in Gbodys. A lot of, you know, seen it before. So, but what that does is, I like to flip them up if possible, just because it gives us more clearance for exhaust. Plus, you don't have nothing hanging under the car. Like if you see this car riding down the road from the side, you're not going to see a bunch of stuff hanging. So that kind of gives you a little bit more room, makes it a little bit nicer. So that's pretty much it on the inside. I mean, you know, it's fairly simple. Like I said, all you basically have to do is just cut your factory tub out. You know, cut it right on this edge. Add your strip to it. We always TIG it in, and then we wind up coming back and seam sealing everything back together. And then, you know, when you get done, it really looks like a factory tub. You can't really tell anything's really been done to it unless you just kind of know what you're looking at. But that kind of makes it nice, clean. You can still run a back seat. You still put carpet in it. It doesn't really get in the way of anything. But I will get the car in. I'll get into the trunk, pop the hood, and show y'all a couple other things we did to it also. Alright, so I'm back out here again. Had to get a screwdriver, you know, fresh paint, doesn't have a trunk lock in it yet, so had to go find a screwdriver to open it. So you can kind of see basically what we did back here also. Same thing, just split the tub, widened it. You know, you can do them several different ways. You can buy tubs. I mean, the only problem I don't like with buying tubs for these cars or buying an aftermarket tub is you can kind of see how that tub's rounded on the corner right there. When you buy a tub, they normally kind of squared off, so you lose a lot of the room that you would have, you know, for tire clearance and for back seat stuff like that. When it's, you know, you lose tire clearance actually with a rounded off corner, but with a squared off tub, it like kind of kills you for having a back seat. So that's why I like to do this. If it's gonna be a street car, I like to use the factory tubs and widen them, and it's easy on a Monte Carlo to widen them. So, but as you can see, we did delete the spare tire well. Same thing, cut it out to fit the hole. You know, TIG'd it in, sealed everything up. But I mean, you can kind of tell as you see. I mean, to look at it, I mean, you really wouldn't know anything's been done back here unless you just kind of know what you're looking at. So I mean, it's a simple job, keeps it real streetable, makes it nice. Like I said, it makes it to where, I mean, it says you still do need to reattach the trunk hinges. Let me shut this trunk down and I'll go around and show you the front. But like I said, it just makes for a clean look. Like I said, the car's got 15 by 12s on the back, and it's got 17s on the front. So, but basically up here, the usual, it's got TRZ, upper and lower control arms. You know, I know y'all hear me talking about it a lot. I like their stuff a lot. It fits nice, works really well. It's got a set of AFCO shocks and everything on the front. And you can see it's got a rack kit on it. I like rack just because it does away, you know, you get rid of all the manual gearbox and everything, so it kind of makes it nice. But that's just basically their rack and pinion kit. Got the steering and all, you know, basically hooked back up so to get it some clearance for our headers. But that's pretty much it on the hood. What I'll do now is I'll raise it up and show you the frame brace kit we did under the bottom. Kind of show y'all what we got going on under there. Like I said, I'm gonna start in the future, you know, actually showing a little bit more in detail of us actually doing more work on them, just because people are asking to see more of the work going into it. But as you can see, man, it's a super nice car, really clean. You know, I kind of hated to cut on this one, honestly, just because it's so nice. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not hurting it. I mean, he's going to have a really nice street car at the end of the day, so it'll still be really nice. Yeah. All right, so this is what we got on the bottom right here. Let me show you what we got. Like I said, you can see the drop spindles. It's raining here, so that's why everything's covered in water. But got AFCO shocks on the front, TRZ upper and lowers. Got our rack kit on. Kind of see we got everything bolted up, but this is what we got going on here in the rear. This is what I wanted to show you. So this is our crossover bars as far as frame brace tie-in kit. As you can see, we went up through the floor right here. It's 1 5/8 chromoly, pretty much typical what we always use. Everything TIG welded. Back up and get you a good view of it. You can see we go across frame to frame from side to side to the torque boxes and all the way back up to the front. This one's also got a chromoly cross member in it for the transmission. And this is your lower torque box adjustable. I don't remember which brand this one is, but I think it's a AA if I'm not mistaken. But adjustable torque box on the lower, tire bar into there. Same thing on this side, double adjustable. And then up here we've got our double adjustable upper box. Let me back up here. You can kind of see it just goes frame to frame. Ties in. We got our inner roll bar TRZ. And if you back up, you can kind of see got a little Moser 9-inch in it. It's been narrowed up. Got our TRZ drop brackets for the control arms. Got the AFCOs on the back. Like I said, the Willwood brakes. Just a nice, clean little street setup. Like I said, we try to keep it tucked up. You can see from the bottom now, if I kind of pan back, everything's tucked up out of the way, so that way when you do run the exhaust on it, it won't get in the way of anything. But that's it from the bottom. Just nice, clean work. Get it on the ground and I'll show y'all again. Alright, so there you go. Little finished product for you. I said it's still going to be lowered in the back, so don't be talking about it's 4-wheel drive, because it ain't going to be. But that's it all finished up.